Show you my Stam-DK build for the Somerset patch here for PvP. I've never really put out a build video before, and I'm not saying this build will work for you, but it works for me because I'm a broke bitch and I don't have shit to gold out everything because I PvP a lot. So I get right into it. These are my stats unbuffed. 2840 weapon damage, 40.5% weapon critical. The 5% doesn't matter though. You don't even look at that. Just look at the 40%. I have good resistances, critical resistance, physical and spell resistance. Spell resistance is a must. I like that a little higher than physical resistance because there's a lot of magic users out there. I have all my points into stamina. I use the Warrior Mundus Stone for the extra weapon damage. I use Dubious Game and Throne. It helps a little bit with recovery, but not much. I wish they'd come out with something a little bit better. Go over the gear. I'm running a 7th Legion Maul, and I use the Double Dot Poison. I think that works the best so far, and it's Nirnhone. Does the extra damage. It's great. I do a 5-piece on that. 7th Legion weapons and jewelry. This is sharpened. I might actually change this to infused. And instead of using the poisons on this, I might actually use like a weapon enchant glyph. Because you can basically proc it non-stop. It has no cooldown. These are the poisons I'm using right now. I like to drain on my defense bar, drain the magicka and stamina for my enemies. Because the less resources they have, the faster they die. I'm also using Veladrift and Hunting's Rage. Lots of weapon critical, lots of weapon damage. And you also get a lot of weapon damage. From this, it's not going to show up on your stats, but when it procs, your arms will glow. And this procs a lot. You can basically have this up 100% of the time. What else? Jewelry, 7th Legion, all weapon damage and chance. I went with healthy because in PvP, I think if you don't have at least 25k health, then you're going to die pretty fast. Especially if someone soul assaults you, because people are bitches and that's what they like to do. So, to show you everything buffed up. So my character sheet buffed up. I have 4,024 weapon damage, 50.5% weapon critical. Almost 20k resistances across the board. I lose out on critical resistance on this bar though, because I don't have a shield on. My sword and shield bar. Just about, we'll call it about 3,500 weapon damage. Still pretty good. I go for the skills. My sword and shield bar. I'm using Shuffle because on this bar I like to have Major Invasion at all times. I keep this up every 5 seconds. I hit it, whether I can afford it or not. If you break free in the passive for the champion points, it's actually free. Basically free. I use Veleta armor. I like this over the other one because I can pull Nightblades out from stealth and let people know where they're at. By the way, this is a solo small group build. I use Igneous Shield because it gives you that Major Mendon. I'm not too worried about the damage shield, actually. I just use it for the Mendon. And it also gives me weapon damage. So I don't know if you guys knew that. Resolve in Vigor and heal yourself. Actually, if I hit that, that'll go up. So, because of the Major Mend. And I use Heroic Slash. It's a great ulti gen. I don't use blood spawn. I've used it in the past, but you get less weapon damage, and I think the more weapon damage I have works for me the best. But this gives me an ultimate, a lot of ultimate. And then I use take flight on this bar. That'll hit for 17,000. It's not bad. It's not good. It's in the middle, I guess. My 2H bar. I use reverse slice. You could use executioner, but I think reverse slice is good when you're fighting multiple people, which is like, and you're in a group with one other person. I play with my wife, so I'm always in a group with her. And this is great because she plays on a Templar, so while she's laying down the heals, I can hit 3 or 4 players with this and burn them down with Dawnbreaker. I hit Dawnbreaker, and that's a cone, and then I'll damage them and stun them, and then I reverse slice them. And I use forward momentum. You could use rally for an extra heal, but I didn't feel like I needed the extra heal, honestly. I like to have 2 things that can remove snare on each bar. So, you know, on my sword and shield bar, I got shuffle, and on this bar, I got forward momentum. It still gives me a heal every 2 seconds while active, and it works great. I use Evil Hunter to boost up my crit. I never use this. It's an expensive skill. I don't go in stealth much. Basically next to none, but it increases my weapon critical rating by 2,191. I use Critical Rush. This is my gap closer. I don't have a gap closer on my sword and shield bar. I tried using a one for the shield to go in and stuns people, and it doesn't work as great. If they have invasion on, it won't hit them at all, and this will always crit, and it'll always hit them. Dizzy and Swing. This is a really hard hidden skill. It's a good CC, but you're not guaranteed to hit anyone with it, actually. And I've been noticing that a lot of sorcerers you can't CC them for some reason. I'm not sure why. I'm not a pro at this game. Still learning. So I use Dawnbreaker or Smiting. Yeah, this is a good ultimate. Stuns them. And those are my skills that I use. I am a red guard. I do rock 2 pieces of heavy armor. My helmet and shoulders. The rest is all medium. I think medium armor works best for standing with Dragon Knights. If you want to go damage wise, if you want to be more tanky, you would go heavy armor, but your sustain would be a lot less. I mean, it says it increases that, but it doesn't work as great. So I'm using the Essence of Speed potions. I also liked using this for a while before Somerset came out because it gave me a lot of stamina recovery. I was at almost 2k stamina recovery, and then but after I changed my sets because I was running Night Silence, I changed it to 7th Legion. Hard set to farm, expensive set to buy. So this is going to grant me Major Expedition, which increases my movement speed by 30%. It gives me Major Brutality, which increases my weapon damage by 20%. I restore 7,500 stamina immediately, which is excellent. So if you're a little under halfway, this will almost fill your bar because of the it restores the stamina and gives you the stamina recovery. Major Endurance, I'm not too worried about that really. I've never really been a fan of sustain really. So I can show you the champion points here. In the green tree, I have 37 in a siphoner. I'm not sure if this actually works, but People say it does. So you put that on there. Reduces the cost to sprint, because I do sprint a lot, especially when you're running a scroll. This helps. Reduce the cost of break free. I might put more points into this because I do break free quite a lot, and that does get expensive. I have 75 into Mooncalf. Obvious, I don't put any more points than 75 into one thing, because that extra 25 points that you can put in there is only going to count for 1%, which is stupid. I think Zoss screwed that up when they redid champion points. Arcanist, I do use some magical abilities, so almost 1% more recovery is better than nothing. I don't do a lot of fully heavy attacks, so no health recovery. I do a lot of dodge roll. It's essential on any character to do a dodge roll, and to reduce the cost of that in PvP is essential. Reduce the cost of block. I do block sometimes, not always. In case I have to sneak, it'll reduce my cost. I have nothing in this tree. I don't need nothing in this tree. So I split this up right here. I know for the Somerset patch, the light attacks and heavy attacks are going to be doing more damage. But I think also Master of Arm, a lot of people are forgetting that Master of Arms is done with direct damage, and a lot of my abilities are direct damage. And I think that people need to split that, and that differs, because, yeah, they just do. That's what I think. I think dumping all of this into here is a bad idea, and I've seen a lot of people on YouTube, they actually do that. They say, hey, after Somerset, take everything from Master at Arms and put it in a physical weapon expert. And I don't believe that's true at all. Because you're not going to run around Cyrodiil doing light attacks, just light attacks, and that's it. You're going to be still doing direct damage kind of attacks, so it's good to have. I have nothing to Thermitage. I don't use any damage over time abilities. Except for my spikes when I bring out Night Blades, but that's it. I don't use like the poisons on the skills or whatever, so I'm fine with it. Precise strikes increases your critical damage and critical healing with standalone abilities. This skill is really good. This is how I'm able to sustain health in mid-fight, because I'm always critting. I crit about 95% of the time, so every time I crit, I'm healing. Physical penetration. If you run Spriggans, I wouldn't put too many points into this, because you'll reach the cap, and you don't want to get anywhere near that, because you'll actually do less damage. I do have this on here. Increase your physical, poison, and disease damage done. No, it doesn't mean that you have to use poison or disease damage, because you're still doing physical damage, so that's good. I have 56 in the Ironclad. I have 64 into resistance for my critical resistance. If you PvP, that's a must. Spell shield, you see I have no spell resistance, but my spell resistance of my character is extremely high. 56 in Hardy, 56 in Elemental Defender, 8 in the Thick Skin. I just recently dumped 10 points in the Expert Defender, just for that extra reduction against player light and heavy attacks for this patch. I'm not too worried about it though. And that's it. That's my build. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later.